Hello, everyone out there in Facebook and in YouTube land. Today we have Brad Dahl from Yarg Metal, and we have Al Horta from Be Cool or Be Podcast Out. Hey, thanks for putting that down there for me, Al. I appreciate it.
It's always a mouthful.
It always is, but it sounds so cool. It really does.
Thank you.
Y'all are watching another episode of the Bike Spinner podcast, and today we have a very interesting show. We are going to each do our top 10 Frank Zappa albums. Now, when people call musicians genius, sometimes it is overthrown and thrown around, but at this case with Frank Zappa, it is not. You are talking about a guitar virtuoso, a orchestra conductor, and a conductor of rock and jazz mixed together that takes us on a wonderful musical trip. So please join us as we count down the top 10 of Frank Zappa albums. Does anyone have anything to add before we hit these top 10s?
He's got a lot of fucking albums.
He sure does. He sure does. But I'm kind of going to stay in a certain area because that's what I prefer.
I'm interested to hear these lists, man. I mean, how different they're going to be. So
yeah. Because I'm sure we all jumped in at a different point.
Oh yeah,
I think that's going to show on our list.
Yeah,
it's going to be the album you spent the most time with. It's a tough list. I mean, there's a lot of his albums that maybe I really want to listen to 30% of it or even less sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just crazy ass stuff that's interesting, but I don't want to listen to it all the time. And so for me, it was like trying to shave it down to albums that I'm like front to back, I'm listening to that album.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going for. And it was kind of funny how I had to struggle a bit for that. Because I'm like, well, I'm not going to put this album, even though I really like these couple of songs on here. I can't say the whole album is I'm in love with it. So
a lot of the albums do stretched out quite a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't overthink. For me, I didn't really overthink it. I just went with it, man. You know.
Yep. Good move. You can't. You just have to go with you. You have to follow your heart.
Yeah.
What's speaking to you, man? And it could change tomorrow. So
I got a kind of a cool story, like how I discovered him, but I'll talk about when I get to those albums.
All right.
You know, which is going to be like, it's going to be at the top of the list. So
yeah, I think we all have Frank Zappa stories because Frank Zappa was passed down to me from my uncle. So and I'll share that story when I get to it.
Oh, and what's your uncle's name?
My uncle Rene Garcia.
All right, good job, Rene.
Yeah.
And in fact, I wanted him to join us today, but he had to work. But me and him are going to a record convention tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. That's gonna be really cool. So let's get started. Let's go.
Hey, I just have one question.
Yeah, of course.
Before we get started, any of you guys get anything on Record Store Day?
I did not. I didn't go to Record Store Day because I was going to go to this record convention tomorrow.
I know, Brad, you're probably not really even a vinyl guy anymore, but
I don't. When last time we moved, my wife made me get rid of my turntable, and I was like, it makes sense. And I keep thinking I should get another one, and maybe someday. But right now, I keep buying CDs, and that's kind of dumb. It's like, what am I going to do with this? I rip it, and it's hard for me to be able to sit down and listen to music. But hopefully, that's going to change August 1st.
Yeah. Mr. Retirement.
That's right, man. Yeah. I got plenty to do, man.
Yeah. Good, man. I can't wait till that happens to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day.
Hey, Al, so you went to go see Godsmack yesterday. How was it?
They were good, man. They were really great. I mean, like, they're a solid live band, man. They really bring it. Still got a lot of energy. At the end, the encore, they did they did Come Together by the Beatles because they covered that on one of their cover albums or something. But then it was funny because before they went into it, Sully went to the mic and he's like, "We're gonna do one more song for you, but I'm not even gonna know what song it is. I'm gonna let the band pick it." He just kind of stood at the mic.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
while the band in the back, they were like conversing, trying to figure out, and he's like, I'm a fan, I love music. I just want to be surprised. So then they started ripping into, Come Together. And but at the end, like they jammed out, like they went into Stairway to Heaven, but they, from the part where it goes da-na-na, 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 they started from that part and they jammed like the rest of it, like the whole thing instrumentally, like with the solo and everything. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. And they nailed it too, man.
Oh yeah, I bet they did.
Tony
we should talk about Zappa's version of Stairway to Heaven.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Zappa, and I also did I think on that same album he did that song by the Allman Brothers, the Hitching Post.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whipping Post. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a story behind him doing that too.
What, Whipping Post?
Yeah, yeah. It's on one of the You Can't Do This on Stage albums, which I'm going to shout out for that. I didn't put it on my list because it's a series of 6 double CDs.
Yeah.
But there's a show he's doing in England, and some guy in the audience kept yelling whipping post.
Yeah.
And he didn't know the song. And so what he did was that he went and listened to the song, and they learned it and played it.
Oh wow.
Next time they came to that venue, they said, yeah, some guy here wanted us to play this, so we're going to play it. Then it became part of the set. I actually got to see him do it once. It was cool.
Man, I never got to see him. I got to see, of course, he passed away when I was in high school. But I was able to see Zappa play Zappa, which was pretty cool.
I've seen Dweezil every time he comes through here, man.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Hey, do any of y'all have any George Duke albums or CDs or music of his?
George Duke?
Yeah. Stanley Clark CD. Or actually, I had it on vinyl.
I might have one of his albums on vinyl. I can't remember, man. I think I have some on vinyl by George Duke. But I always used to like when I worked with my brother, man. My brother became like a big jazz head later on in his as he got older, and he kind of turned me on to that. And he would listen to a lot of George Duke and stuff like that. So whatever station that we listened to, it was a cool jazz station actually in New York City back in the 90s. So I played a lot of like really George Duke and, Spyro Gyra, like stuff like that. Like they played some cool jazz, They do some Miles on there. They touch on that and, stuff like that. That's why I like Miles Davis, I love his stuff. I love Bill Evans, I've become, a little bit steeped in jazz too, I don't talk about it much, but I should more. It's
one of those.
It's just like when you want to get away from rock a little bit, man. You just kind of want to. It's not even like some jazz is not mellow, dude. It's fucking out there, man. And Zappa kind of marries those both worlds, man. Like the rock and jazz, and like fusion, Yeah. And that's why I love Zappa, man. I mean, he can just fucking rip it out and then go into a jazzy thing, and
and just whip out the guitar and do some stuff. That's amazing.
Right. I mean, you can go prog, you can go. I mean, he did every style, man. He did punk if you wanted to. I mean, like whatever, man. Nothing was off limits to him.
Nope. He did whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, composer, man. I mean, he was just, like the word genius gets thrown around, but I mean, he definitely is a genius, man.
He just was. He was one of the great ones. So let's get started. Let's go. Brad, Al, and then me. Okay. So we'll start with Brad, go to Al, and remember, guys, I put on there that live albums we're going to be included because his live albums are completely different from any other.
I love the live stuff. Is like, to me, is kind of the best.
Yeah, I agree with Al there, but also a lot of times studio albums were actually taken from live recording.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he built on them. So, all right, I'll go first then. Number 10, which happens to be a live album, Just Another Band from LA. This is one that I didn't get into till later on down the Zappa trail. I worked with a guy that told me I needed to get into the Flo and Eddie stuff. And so I did. And the reason this made my top 10, it's the only Flo and Eddie one on my top 10, is just because of Billy the Mountain. And it's that song has gotten to be a family legend. I mean, we can't drive by a Howard Johnson's without everybody going, Howard Johnson's, Howard Johnson's. Want to get some coffee? Want to get some clams? Yeah, I mean, my family, we cannot drive by a Howard Johnson's without going through that whole routine. And Studebaker, yeah, you know, I mean, see a Studebaker Hawk, the whole thing. It's just nuts. I know the first time I played it for my son, you know, he was like, "This song is still going on 30 minutes later." And, yep, and this is that right there just made it number 10. It's just that song. The other songs on the first side of the album are kind of fun too, but Billy the Mountain, if you've never listened to it, when you do, you'll be like, "What the hell is this crap?"
No. Now, when it comes to Zappa, it never is crap. It's always some kind of journey.
No,
it really is.
It's you kind of it's one of those things you got to. Being from LA though, that's the other problem. It's like you guys, when you listen to a lot of those references in Billy the Mountain, you're not going to get them.
Yeah,
you're not going to get the Ralphs where no prices are lower prices than Ralphs. Which there again, anytime we're in California, you drive by a Ralphs, we got to sing it. You know, there's so many references to growing up in that part of the world for me, and that's another reason I like the song. And I'm sure other people that know nothing about LA are probably like, I don't get this at all.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that when it comes to Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, there were always inside jokes within the band.
Yep.
You know, always inside jokes, and you had to read about them to figure out what the hell are they talking about? What is this place? And, you know, stuff like that. But that's a great pick. I'm not too familiar with that album, but I need to get familiar with it.
Yeah, so I want to, if you do, when you do listen to Billy the Mountain, let me know what you think.
I sure will.
Yeah, 2 minutes in, you'll be like, what is Brad talking about? Brad's lost his mind. Yeah, it's a road trip song for us.
Is that a live album you said, right?
It's live. Okay. Poly Pavilion.
Where at?
The Poly Pavilion. It's the arena at UCLA where they play basketball.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the first time I saw Zappa was there in 1976, New Year's Eve.
Oh, man, you saw him back in the day? You saw him way back then, huh?
Yep. That's awesome. I wanted to make sure I saw Patrick O'Hearn and Terry Bozzio, man. Those guys are my favorites. And that band, Adrian Belew.
Incredible band, man.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's like you could break down each one of his bands that he's had and different guys in the band, and that for me, that was my sweet spot. Those guys. All right, let's go on. Al,
what's your number 10?
I'm going early, man. We're only in it for the money.
Okay.
I like the early Mother stuff too. Political satire. I mean, he just destroys the left and right, destroys the hippies, destroys pretty much everyone is fair game.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to him, you know, just taking the piss out of people, man. You know, but this is speaking of record store day before. This was a record store day buy. It was the original mono mix that wasn't released. That had been. It was the original mono mix that came out in '68, and it hadn't been released since then. So they finally put it back on wax in 2018, I guess, for the anniversary of it. And I mean, shit. I mean, I you know, who needs the Peace Corps? You know, Absolutely Free, which is the name of another album, but that was on here. You know, Let's Make the Water Black. You know, Take Your Clothes Off When You Dance. You know, there's a really a lot of cool shit on here, man. I mean, that early stuff was real experimental too.
Yeah,
I mean, his whole fucking career is experimental, but you know, I mean, that early stuff though, man. I didn't hear it until like much later on after I'd been into him already. I got to credit my friend Steve, who's the drummer in my band, and I mean, before he was a drummer in my band, he used to be married to my best friend's sister, and he was a big time like still is. I mean, and we're still friends to this day. and he turned me on a lot of Zappa, man.
Cool.
You know, stuff that I didn't even know about. I mean, he's probably got like every Zappa bootleg you can get. You know, I mean, he's like really deep into Frank. So, Steve, man, thank you for enlightening me and turning me on more into his world. You know, because I only knew up until like the early '90s, I only really knew a couple of Zappa albums. You know, and I kind of wish I would have. I kind of wish I would have known him well enough to see him at least on his last tour in '88. You know, I didn't get to see that, but yeah, we're only in it for the money. Is my number 10.
Good pick for number 10. That's really good. I'm going to start off with a live album.
Oh, one more thing is that
of course,
when it was first released, the record company turned down putting this cover as the cover. They put it on the inside, and the cover was actually a yellow background with the band, just a band.
Yeah.
And because they were taking the piss out of, obviously, Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time, the record company was like, nah, and Zappa was pissed, you know. But then, you know, later reissues put this as the cover. You know, you got Jimi Hendrix over here, too, on the cover, you know.
Lyndon B. Johnson's there a couple of times.
Yeah. You know, the Sgt. Pepper covers them, I guess it's during a sunny day. This is like during a thunderstorm, you know. It's just complete, you know, satire on that cover. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. And what had pissed off Zappa, because I had read this before, is that he had asked Paul if they can do that cover.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
Paul said, well, let me ask, you know, some people. And
well, he was like, I think Paul was like, talk to our managers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Zappa was like, well, shouldn't we as artists be telling our managers what to do anyway, you know? you know, Zappa didn't take no shit. You know, that was his thing.
Yeah, that's what Frank was saying. He said, dude, you're Paul McCartney. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know? But you don't have to ask anybody. Just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Period. So, yeah. And another thing that he had something with Lennon when Lennon was solo. But I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm going to start off with a album that is going to be a live album. It's a double live album, of course. It's Zappa, even though he did make a couple of singles, but most of the time they're double. It's going to be Roxy and Elsewhere.
Great album.
This is dude, it's just fantastic. I love the back of this.
Yep.
Zappa. I mean, just fantastic. And if y'all want to watch this, I think it's been available on Tubi for free for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah. If you just put in Zappa, it'll pull up
Roxy
a couple. Yeah, Roxy and Elsewhere.
Okay.
Did any of you see his documentary too?
Yeah. I actually own it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking great, man.
Is that the one by Alex Winter?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
No,
there's actually more than one documentary, but it's
the official, I guess. You know.
Yeah, because the Zappa family opened up their vault and gave them everything, access to everything.
Now, Brad, you own it. Like, so is there extra stuff that's not like that wasn't like broadcast or?
Yeah.
Because I only saw it streamed, so I don't have. I gotta go and get the Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, you know.
Yeah, there's bonus stuff. Yeah, you want to come over and watch it?
When you come to Philly, bring it with you.
Right.
There you go.
So that was on Hulu, I think, right? Hulu. I think it was called "Eat That Question."
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Penguin and Bondage Boy. This is such a great album. It's so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, I love that album too, man.
He does a really good rendition of "More Trouble Every Day," which I'll talk about that album later on. Just to let us know what was going on during the Watt riots. It's just and Zappa holds nothing back when he's writing. He tells it straight out. There's no trying to second guess. Oh well, what's he talking about when it came to More Trouble Every Day? But that's why I'm going to go with Zappa on the discreet label. Zappa and the Mothers, Roxy and Elsewhere. That's my number 10.
Cool.
Great album.
Yeah, great, man.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get to that one before too long. I'm going to number 9 for me. I'm going with Leather. It
Oh,
it's not the. I mean, well, I guess it is the original album because when he wanted to put it out, the record company wouldn't go for it because it was too many records and it was to fulfill his obligation to Warner Brothers. But they broke it up, so we got a good bulk of it is live in New York, and then there's also the other Sleep Dust and I don't know. There's
there was Sleep Dirt, Studio 10, and
Studio 10.
Orchestral Favorites.
Yeah.
Now I got those 4 to make up Lather. I don't have Lather, but I've got those 4.
Yeah. So the mixes are different on Leather. I mean, he went back and so it's kind of fun to have it all, so you can hear the different things. But to me, that band, Terry Bozzio, Patrick O'Hearn, you don't get better than those guys, and there's just so much just craziness going on there. I mean, it's 3 CDs, and yeah, it's a lot of music. It goes everywhere twice.
Yeah.
So.
I was just listening to Gregory Peccary this morning just to get ready for this.
Yeah, that's another one. I haven't been able to get my son sold on that one yet.
No,
but it's kind of a Billy the Mountain ish, where it's a whole side of an album. But it's a good one. Yeah, it's got Billy the Mountain in there, so he's actually a character in that song.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He brings back characters from different albums, and if you're a fan, you would catch it, and it's just amazing the way that this guy just goes about his business. I remember my uncle Rene, the one that I was talking about, had bought this on CD back in the early 90s. I guess that's when it came out, because I think it was one of the last things he had worked on.
It was the 90s when it came out.
To make sure that it came out the way he wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's got titties and beer. So
what else can you
have? I mean, that song right there, for me, I love that song. It's
got the 2 of the best things in the world.
It's Terry Bozzio and Patrick O'Hearn.
Hey, I wanted to ask you on that track listing for Lather. It doesn't go in order of the albums, because I try to read them and they're all scattered.
Yeah.
Throughout, so it's not the Live in New York show all together.
No,
these live tracks are scattered.
Yeah,
is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it's all over the place. And I don't know whether that was the initial running order or whether he just wanted it that way afterward. I'll have to read it. It's got quite a booklet in there, and
it really does. Yeah, it's got a pretty
booklet. What the history is and what he says there, but. He played the album on the radio before it came out. Well, when Warner Brothers wouldn't release it, he went to the local radio station and said, "I want to," and they played the whole album. And that's
fucking Frank.
Yeah, the other release is him introducing it on the radio station, which is really good.
Of course, only Frank would do that.
Yeah, it's like they won't put it out. Well, I'm going to play it for everybody for free.
Yep. What's your number 9?
All right, I don't have a physical copy of this, but I got to go right to the beginning and freak out. Another early Mothers. I mean, who the hell comes out with a double album as their first album, man? First of all,
their debut album being double.
Yeah. Who are the Brain Police? I mean, like that song. Like when I heard that when I was younger, I was like, kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
Well, the fact, how young are we talking about here?
Well, I probably was like, I was probably like 14 or 15. Okay. Well, I was already a teenager, but still, it was like.
Yeah, that's the first Zappa album I heard. And back then it was almost like pornography. This is like 69 or something.
Yeah.
I was just a kid. I mean, a little kid. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't believe they're saying that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Return of the Son of Monster Magnet. You know.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just like, what year was that? 67?
66.
66.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who the hell? I mean, you could. Yeah, the Beatles were first at many things, but I mean, Frank was fucking right there with them.
Oh, yeah.
with the experimenting and shit. I mean, come on, man. Like I said, double album as the debut. I mean, the record company must have been right off the bat like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? But me and Frank, you know, he's like, I'm gonna fucking do what I want, you know? And that's that, you know? But yeah, I don't have a physical copy of it. I used to. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I had it on CD. Yeah, I must have lost it due to miss of time. But I'm going back, you know, the early mothers, man. Again, like, I love the experimentation. I love, you know, how thinking like I try to put my mindset in like 1966, and when people first heard this shit, man, like, you know, what did they think? You know, like what was going on? You know, and that was when music was really changing. You know,
there was no fear at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna go with that as my number 9.
That's a good one.
And there's a debate if that was the first double album, because Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde came out about the same time.
Oh, okay.
So there's a debate of which one was actually first.
But that wasn't Bob Dylan's first either. You know, it was.
Yeah, but that was his first double.
Yeah.
But they're talking, but they were talking about the first double album released.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know how they can get the dates wrong when something was released.
Yeah, you should be able to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be hard to do, so I don't know what the debate is. My number 9 is going to be an 80s album, actually.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were introduced to Steve Vai on this album.
I love the drawing on there.
Yeah, the drawing was cool, man. I've always loved that cover.
I didn't. It took me a while to figure that out, what that was.
But man, the track Drowning Witch is just fantastic.
Yep.
Just kicks ass. It really does. And the thing with this album was that I was listening to XM a few months ago, and Ahmet Zappa has a radio show on there.
Really?
On yeah, he does interviews, and he was interviewing Steve Vai, and Steve Vai was talking about how he came about meeting Frank Zappa. He said a friend of his went and stole a rollator from the record plant in New York, and that's how they got Zappa's number. And Steve Vai started calling him at home, and he could never catch Frank in time. You know, Gail, his wife, would answer and say, "No, he's not here right now. He's not here right now." One time he called the house, and Frank answered, and Frank saw, "You're the one that's been calling, huh?" And Frank told him, "Why don't you come to my house and let's see what you got?" And
that's funny because that's a story that's been repeated because Mike Keneally did the same thing. He would call, you know, the 1-800-PUMPKIN, and he would call all the time and kept telling Frank he wanted to be in his band. And so one day Frank said, "Okay, be here tomorrow and know these songs." And he said his brother drove and he sat in the back seat with his guitar, learning everything. And he got the audition.
Yeah, but you had to be badass to be in Frank's band.
Yes,
and you had to be clean. You could do whatever you want on your time, but when you were on Frank's time, there was no drugs, there was no bullshit. You were there to work. You're on the clock.
So tell me what it is about that album that you like so much. What's your favorite part about it?
Well, like I was saying, side 2, The Drowning Witch and Envelopes. I just love the guitar playing in that. Valley Girl I used to hate, but after listening to a little bit more, and you know, it wasn't supposed to be now knowing Frank a little bit more, it was another satire, another poke at society at that time. And it became a top 10 hit for him. You know, his only hit.
His biggest,
Yeah, and when really it was just satire and a poke fun of what was going on in pop music and in pop culture at the time.
You know what's funny is that lately, like on, driving, I have in my wife's truck, I have satellite radio, and so once in a while when me, my wife, and my daughter were going somewhere, I'll have it on. Sometimes I'll have it on deep tracks or something like that, and like Valley Girl will come on, and my daughter's kind of been taking a liking to that song now because she's like she thinks the whole Valley Girl talk is pretty funny. So I'm hoping this might be a little gateway of her maybe getting into a little bit of Zappa,
You don't want to scare her away, Al.
Well, I'm not gonna scare her away, but there's a couple of songs here and there she could hear. I'm not gonna.
I love the bass playing on that song, man. Yeah. Scott Tunis is airing it out.
Yeah.
Great playing. It's kind of overshadowed because you're busy listening to what they're saying rather than what the music is.
Yeah.
Music behind it is great. I would imagine that was probably written before the Moon came in there and did the vocal thing.
So what is number 8?
Oh wait, that's me,
Brad.
Bongo Fury. Yeah, so
good one.
Terry Bozzio, no Patrick O'Hearn yet, but Terry Bozzio's first album with Frank, and the drumming on there is just crazy good. There's so many good songs on there. One of my all-time favorite Frank songs, "The Muffin Man." Just the song itself is alive, but the intro is not.
Yeah.
The intro is just pure Frank, just ad-libbing his little muffin utility research kitchen, and. God, there's just so many. Carolina Hardcore Ecstasy, that song is hilarious. Advanced Romance, just again, great songs. A little the Captain Beefheart stuff, kinds of. I mean, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not something that's not what I'd let people listen to first. Here, listen to this. You're like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah. I like the way that it ends on the Muffin Man. Thank you, Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Good night, Las Vegas, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I love to also. I mean, it was Frank's thing at the beginning of every concert. He would introduce everybody in the band, and then he would do it again at the end of the show. And I always liked that. I thought that was really cool. I mean, he felt like the band was that important. He wanted people to know who was in it and who was playing this stuff. So. Yeah, great.
And I just want to interject what you just said, that Frank found the band very important. On John Lennon's New York City album, sometime in New York City, side 3 is live with Frank Zappa and the Mothers. And afterwards, when they got paid, John Lennon only wanted to pay Frank.
Yeah.
Frank goes, I don't think so.
No.
You got to pay us all.
Yeah, you got to pay every mother.
Yeah, not just me. He said, we come as a band, we all play, and we all get paid.
Yep.
And I think he almost took Lennon to court for that, and Lennon finally broke down and paid up. Yeah.
Yeah, he took care of his guys.
Yeah, he really did.
And girls.
Yep. The backing vocals, the great Ruth Underwood. Woohoo! Man, the xylophone. Just great where he found these virtuosos in every instrument. So what's going on with you? What do you got for number 8?
Well, I'm going with a posthumous release, and I'm sure Brad will appreciate this because this is the year that he first saw him. I'm going with Philly 76.
Ooh, yeah, that is good.
Dude, the band, you got Ray White, Eddie Jobson, Patrick O'Hearn, Terry Bozzio. One of the few times Bianca actually was vocalist for him for Frank, because I don't think she was around that long, right? So
just oof. Yeah.
So dude, I mean, like the songs on here, Purple Lagoon, Stinkfoot. I mean, it's classic era for me. I love this era of the band.
Yep.
And and again, like I tend to like listen to Frank's live albums a lot, and I love like a lot. I think I picked this up actually at a Dweezil concert.
Oh wow!
Before he got into a war with his brother, he had a lot of Frank stuff there too. So this was put out by the Zappa Trust, and this is a great live album. I recommend this to anybody who's even remotely likes Frank. Man, I mean this was hot, man. And it was definitely a good, nice posthumous release. And I I spin this one regularly, man.
Yeah, they've been releasing those post albums and
his posthumous releases. They've been doing a good job on releases.
Very good job. They're not just cheap shit to get out there. They're doing things that I believe that Frank would do.
Yeah,
and they're taking good care of his name.
Like I said, my friend Steve, that's a huge Zappa head, man. When I go to his apartment, I was just at his apartment the other day, and he's got a whole section of just Frank, and they've been putting out like all the cool like box sets and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Every
Halloween, they got those road tapes that just came out too a couple years ago.
And every Halloween they've been coming out with these cool like real Halloween shows of him, and like you know, multiple nights and like one set.
And those box sets, man, the fans are really getting some shit, man.
Yeah, they're getting good stuff, man.
Yeah, you know? It's not just some lazy stuff. It's doing the Zappa name good. It really is.
I just wish, you know, like the family would. I mean, I wish Dweezil and his brother would kind of, you know, mend fences, man. You know, because when the mother was alive, and she was trying to shut him down for a while, and I'm like, I just didn't get it, man. Like, you know, your son's out there promoting Frank's music and shit. I mean, why are you like giving him a hard time? You know,
he's trying to make sure that it is, because I believe right now a lot of music with the young people today, it's not making it like the way it did with us.
Yeah,
you know, it's just not stretching out to the younger generation. It's getting out there, but not as much as it used to.
You got to dig for it, man. Bottom line is, you're not going to hear on mainstream radio. You're not going to hear like anything remotely interesting, man. You know, If it doesn't have a whatever the fucking vocal effect is,
auto-tune,
whatever. I mean, you can just tell every fucking pop song has that shit now.
It's got no heart to it at all. At all.
You know who does play Frank Zappa?
Yarg metal.
Yarg metal. I don't play a lot of it, but I throw it in there every so often. Just
you should. As well.
And I had a guy that hit us up, and he goes, "I want to hear more Frank Zappa." And I said, "Dude, you tell me when you're listening. I'll play you 2 hours of Frank Zappa." So I handpicked it, and I played him all these stuff like off of Philly 76. And he was like, "I've never heard that version of that song before. That was so cool." And so, I mean, I'm playing stuff that, you know, maybe it's not the version you've heard.
Yeah.
Because I got it all. And anyway, it was very cool for me to be able to play like 2 hours straight of Frank Zappa. Even if it was for one person, hopefully other people weren't like, what the hell is this? I'm going to put on something else.
Yeah, this Philly 76, though, man. Yeah. I mean, Andy, if you don't have this, man.
I don't. I've been streaming it, so I don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, stream it, listen to it whatever way you
get it.
Oh no! I do want to get a physical copy of it. Yeah. I I know that I stream, but I stream at work, which a lot of people are like, "What the hell are you listening to?" Don't worry about it. It's on low. It's right here in front of me. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome.
But yes, I do need to get Philly 76. I've been seeing that a lot, and I've been playing it a lot. And that's a perfect era. That is my one of my favorite eras. But right now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to join Al's troop. We're only in it for the money.
Yeah.
I got the yellow one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cover that was first released.
And then the inside has the inside of it.
Yep.
My uncle, I'm going to refer to him a lot because he's the one that got me into Zappa, and that's where I got it. He really didn't like this album that much because he didn't have his his guitar didn't play that big of a role in these couple of early albums. Mm-hmm. But I know that Al already touched on these, but side one is just completely flawless. It really is, with all the little intricate parts and conversations that people are having. You can kind of picture, you can kind of picture what was going on there in '68 with the hippies and the political side of things, and then you got Zappa and the mothers just trying to stay, straight, and making fun of hippie lifestyle and stuff. So, going to San Francisco and stuff like that, and where I'm gonna go to the City of Commerce and learn how to smoke a lot of dope. And I'm gonna join a band. I'm gonna get the crabs, but I won't care. I will love the police as they kick the shit out of me. It's just a really great album. And then side 2 gets a little bit more serious. It really does. You start to see the kind of music that he's going to start to get serious about of the orchestration and stuff like that. So this is such a great album. I love it. We're only in it for the money. At number 8 for me. Yeah.
8.
Love it, man.
Good stuff. What do you got over there, Brad? Number 7.
Yeah, you already talked about this, Roxy and Elsewhere. Again, just the band is just on fire.
It is.
It's just got such a weird. The sound of the album too is just so weird. I mean, I've been to the Roxy, and it's hard to imagine that actually happening there
in that room
and sounding like that. But I like the way the drums sound. 2 drummers, just musically, it's crazy good. Yeah. What can I say? And there's funny stuff in there too. I mean, it's Pygmy Twilight. That
and Zappa made sure that everything sounded great before it was released.
I think Dweezil did a tour where he did that whole album too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
cool. Wow.
The Roxy tour, yeah. So Dweezil's been like, he touched every tour he did would be like a theme, like he would touch on some sort of different era or something. I saw Dweezil like the first time he put together Zappa Plays Zappa, and it was like the who's who of like who's in Zappa. He had Napoleon Murphy Brock, he had Terry Bozzio, he had Steve Vai. He had fucking all the alumni pretty much, man. Wow. And then through the years he's had alumni come in and out. Now it's just like kind of he has like kind of his core band. I love that girl Sheila that he has in his band. She's like really talented. She does keyboards, she does horns, all sorts of shit, man.
Oh wow!
So and it was cool. Like when I first couple of times seeing Dweezil, like at the end of the show, he would just kind of hang up the stage. You can just kind of walk up the stage and say hello to him. And I took a picture with him. You can see it on my Facebook, Brad.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, no, he was really cool, and I got to meet like quite a few members of his band, and they're all. I mean, come on, man, you can't be a hack musician and play this stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's all quality, I saw Dweezil. I saw the Stone Pony in Asbury Park in '93 when Dweezil and his brother had the band Z.
So you saw my boys in there, Mike Keneally and Brian Beller.
Yeah, and Joe Travers was the drummer.
Joe Travers, yeah.
Yeah, great drummer, man. He's so underrated, dude. Nobody like really, but he's a fucking phenomenal drummer, man.
Yep.
Yep. And funny, last summer I saw King Crimson, and it was the Zappa band that opened up. So he's the drummer now in that band, along with Keneally and Scott Tunis and all them guys, man.
Yeah, there's another Zappa alumni band that's playing at the Baked Potato this weekend.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they're all these old Zappa guys.
There's Project Object that I always see play around here as well.
Yep,
they're really good. Yeah. So anyway, that was your. I'm next, or
you.
Here you are.
Yeah, that was my number 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going another posthumous release. Another live one. This time we're going with Road Tapes.
Can you listen for them?
Yeah.
This is Helsinki, Finland, '73, there's a great video of this as well. Pull it up, Helsinki '73, Zappa, and dude, the video is awesome. But this album is awesome as well. You got Redunzel, you got Montana, you got Penguin in Bondage, Dog Breath. What else we got on here? Father Oblivion. You got Brown Shoes Don't Make It. I mean, yeah, 73, man. That was still a great. It was one of the great eras too. That's when I first kind of got into them. But you'll see later on with my picks. But I love this Road Tapes one too, which I picked up on another Zappa Dweezil show as well. Like whenever I went there, I used to always go to the merch table and pick up a Zappa Family Trust release because I knew it was going to be good. So
right.
So yeah, Helsinki 73 Road Tapes, dude.
Okay.
Another recommended live album. So I'm not going. I'm kind of. I could have went with Roxy and Elsewhere. I could have went with Zappa in New York. The usual live albums. But I'm kind of shying away from them. I'm kind of giving the posthumous ones a little love.
Oh, thanks a lot for talking about those because I will check those out.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, that's good. Kick ass, man.
Yeah.
To me, Zappa from 73 to 79, man, you couldn't fucking beat it, man.
Yeah. Great stuff during that time.
That time period, man. He was just fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, and he was employing the greatest musicians out there.
And all the great musicians he had in his band, they got their start with him.
Yeah.
Going out and then having great careers of their own, man.
Yeah.
So
you're right. My number 7?
Yep.
Yeah, number 7.
Or is it 6? No, it's 7.
7. I'll go with Joe's Garage. You can jam at Joe's Garage. Yes, you can.
Great album, man.
Yeah, dude, this is so good. So we talked about Peter Wolf being a producer, but this is the Peter Wolf on keyboards from Jay Giles' band, right?
Nope.
No.
Or is this the producer?
It's a different Peter Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not Peter Wolf. Jay Giles and Zappa, and they were crossed.
Okay.
I know
of. This is so good. I love him being the central scrutinizer, kind of telling the tales. That then goes to Joe's Garage. Great album track. Catholic Girls, Cruise Slut, Wet T-shirt contest tonight. And here's the fork to the forehead. Here's your $50, Mary. Why does it hurt when I pee? Lucille has messed up my mind. And then I got Acts 2 and 3 over here. And that really gets into the deep guitar, deep, really music part of it. Act 1 tells you the story. And then, Acts 2 and 3 really get into the musicianship of it. They get away from the from the jokey part of it and really get down and dirty when it comes to music. So Joe's Garage is my number 7.
Nice.
Oh,
number 6, Brad.
Whoa, number 6. You Are What You Is. I think this is actually, I don't know if it's 100% studio, but it's about as studio album as it's going to get for Zappa. And I don't know why, but this album just really touches me, especially the side 1, where you've got all these little short songs that kind of feed into each other, and there's a story that's going on there as well. And there's just so much weirdness going on. You got Steve Vai just doing stupid things on the guitar. I mean, it's just brilliant. Yeah.
I remember the video for You Are What You Is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when Beavis and Butthead actually watched it too. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's that's just, I don't know, that I saw him on, I think I saw him in 81 before this album came out, but I knew
because I think that was 82, right?
Yeah, because I knew. Yeah, you're right. So I saw him in 81. It was at Santa Monica Civic. I was sitting a couple of rows behind Terry Bozzio and Dale and Warren Cucurullo. And I knew that they were putting a band together. I knew they didn't have a bass player.
They were in the audience?
Yeah.
Oh, so you sat behind them as
they were like 2 rows in front of me. And so I thought, holy crap, I would kill to play with Terry Bozzio. And like, I know they don't have a bass player. And I just didn't have the guts. And I'm like, those guys would eat me alive. And of course, years later, hanging out with Mike Keneally, he says, dude, you should have talked to him. He says, I said, yeah, but look who they got, Patrick O'Hearn. There's no way. He says, no, you should have talked to him, man. He said, you'd have been great for that band. I was like, I don't have the hair. I didn't have I said, I don't know how much poof you could do with this. But because, man, their hair was spectacular.
That's when they did Missing Persons, right?
Yeah, it was Missing Persons. That was the band. And I hadn't heard it, but I just knew I just worshiped Terry Bozzio, man. I was like, I want to play bass with that guy. And
I saw Terry like I said, I saw Terry
Dweezil
play with Dweezil, but I also saw when Neil Peart put together the Buddy Rich tribute here in New York at Roseland Ballroom. No, I'm sorry, Hammerstein Ballroom. This was back in like 2008, I think.
Okay. Man, that's a great place to see a show. I've been there once.
Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. It was the tribute to Buddy Rich, and it had the who's who of drummers, obviously. And Terry was one of the drummers, dude. And his fucking drum set was insane.
Oh, that's when he had well.
Holy shit, man! I mean,
drums
he made Niels look like Ringo Starr's, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Circa 63. I'm gonna go get my dogs, guys. Y'all go ahead. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Dude, Terry kind of lost me there. I mean, he got way.
It's just too much, man. I mean,
it's just like, it's less music and more thinking.
Yeah.
And I just loved him when he was first in the band. The way he hit those drums so hard.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, when I saw them the first time, it was just like everybody in the band was doing their own bizarreness. I mean, but it was like, you were just like, how are they even playing together? Because Terry was just all over the place doing his thing, and they had their own little things going with each other, and it was just the most incredible, bizarre thing I've ever seen. And Frank, the only time he'd pull them together, when he turned around and conducted them, then they would immediately focus. When he'd turn around, all eyes were on him. But when he was out there doing his stuff, they were just going bonkers behind him.
Yeah.
But yet it's, guys, so good. So good. I love that guy's drumming.
Yeah, the Buddy Rich tribute, man, it was split up into two. It was, they had like act one, like a first part, and then they had an intermission. So Terry was the last drummer of the first part. Like, he was the main guy. Obviously, Neil was like the last drummer to be on, because he was the one that put it together. Him and Buddy Rich's daughter.
Oh.
Because Neil had come out with some Buddy Rich albums too, like some tributes to him in the 90s. But this was cool. Like, when he announced that they were doing this in New York, I was like, I gotta go see this, man. And I'm not even a drummer, but I'm such a fan of drummers. I do actually play drums, though. Like, I do dabble in it. I try to play every instrument that I can. I might not be a master of any of them, but at least I know like some. I mean, if I want to put together my own demos, I could, do everything. But except I'm not really good at piano or keyboards, though. I really need somebody to like. I really need to sit down. And really like try to learn that stuff. Right. I mean, when I was a kid, man, I wish my parents wanted to get me piano lessons, and I kicked and screamed. I didn't want to do it. And like looking back now, I kind of wish I did. Because when you learn that, man, that's kind of like the basis of like everything,
there's so much theory involved, and get the whole.
And I kind of wish I was disciplined. It would have disciplined me more.
So. Your parents didn't throw around. Don't you want to be more like John Lord? No.
I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen, dude. I wanted, I was like when I hit like 14 or 15. 14, I think. That's my first guy in the car. So, I mean, I immediately like I would sit in my room, fucking practice 8 hours a day. Come home from school, like do my homework real quick and just play like all night.
Yeah, that was the great thing about being a kid and playing is that's
when that bug hit you, man.
Except for I didn't do my homework. I just skipped that and just played music.
I didn't really do much homework either. I did my homework the next day at home.
Yeah, kids don't listen to us.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
Yeah, do your homework. Stay in school, don't do drugs, and don't vape.
My daughter's a straight A student, so she's definitely not taking.
Oh, good job.
She's not walking in my footsteps on that arena.
I tell I'm on faculty at the University of Utah, and we have students that work for us and stuff. And if I see them working on schoolwork, I'm like, "Is that due tomorrow?" They go, "No, it's not due till like next Wednesday." So why are you working on it now then? Because one of my rules is that if you can't get it done the night before it's due, it's not worth doing.
Exactly. Shit, man, I would do mine in homeroom at the beginning of the school.
Right in the morning, I'd get there early.
Yeah, and it was due like in 2 classes.
Yeah,
that's the way I studied for tests too. I used to always cram, I mean, I would get good grades on tests doing it that way because it's fresh in your head, and I don't know. It just worked. It just worked for me. I skated through high school like Spicoli did.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I skated too, and my mom didn't think I was going to graduate. I told her, "Mom, I just have to make a 90 in this class, and then I'll pass." She's like, "You haven't got a 90." I said, "I will." And what happened? Told you, Mom. Told you, 90. No problem. This is kid stuff.
Guys. So what are we on? Number 6, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going with Andy, man. I'm going with Joe's Garage. I'm going to do all 3, though. All 3 in one, It's just, I got it as a triple album. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to touch on it too much because you already touched on it. But, yeah, great guitar album. A lot of great. If you're really into, like, Zappa playing guitar, that's a great one to have,
Especially Acts 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Watermelon and Easter Hay, man.
Oh, dude, Dweezil opened up with that on one of his tours, and I was just like, dude, this is ridiculous, man. 10 minutes of like ridiculousness, but it was great. And A Token of My Extreme, Joe's Garage, which actually Joe's Garage, the song, actually gets some airplay here on New York radio, actually. Really? So yeah, it's surprisingly, like once in a while you hear a Frank Zappa song, Nice. So that's usually the song that gets played though, like on classic rock radio here in New York.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's I don't have to hear Stairway like for the fucking millionth time. I can, play some Zappa, man. Stuff that you don't hear.
Is that your Willie?
Yeah, that's Willie. I've had him for about a week now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was barking at my cat, so.
Well, the cat deserves it.
And the cat just sits there and stares at him.
So yeah, man. My number 6, Joe's Garage. I'll go with that, and that's all I don't need to really elaborate much on it.
My number 6.
I don't have a hard copy of that either. I don't know where my CD went. Well, you showed it. You showed it before Andy, so that's fine.
Okay.
I had that on vinyl. I had that all on vinyl. That's
great. I love that one. This is one that I've been getting into recently. I had heard on Sea of Tranquility with Pete Pardo talk about this album. And I think he said that this was one of his favorites. So I went ahead and I've had it for a while, didn't spin it that much, but now that I am spinning it, I was like, man, that's not too bad. And not only that, there's a song on here called Andy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. One size fits all. His guitar is blazing on this. Just blazing.
Oh, yeah.
Pajama People, just hilarious. Yep. Again, a poke at people. And then the guitar solos on that just kicks ass, man. Sofa number 2, Sofa number 1, the Inca Roads. This is a precursor to another album that I'll talk about later.
Okay.
But this is really the beginning of his mid-70s output. Yeah. And it's going to stick to this template. I think this was right after Roxy.
Yep.
And right before Bongo Fury. It was in the middle. sometimes this one might get overlooked, but man, it's I really enjoy it. I'm glad that I took Pete Pardo's talk on this.
He's got a great channel, man. Sea Tranquility.
Yeah,
I watch his channel all the time, man.
It's great. And in fact, that's what gave me the idea to do this because I enjoy watching him so much.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times too, man. He's
really?
Cool. Yeah, I met him at I first met him at Sons of Apollo, like before the pandemic hit.
Oh, we talked about them last week.
Yeah, so I met him there. I saw him in the lobby. Went up to him. I'm like, hey, dude, I check out your channel a lot. You know, I love what you do. You know, and he was actually there with. He was talking to Chris Caffrey, the guitar player of Sabotage and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So I was meeting him too, and actually another friend of mine that got me the tickets. He actually got me backstage passes for that night, so I got to meet Billy Sheehan. I got to meet the whole band except Portnoy. He didn't come out.
Yeah,
actually, Portnoy was like pissed because they were like running late on their show, and the union fees there are pretty severe, so you can't go past 11 o'clock. And they had to cut a song out from their set, and Mike made it perfectly clear that he was pissed off, you know, on stage, like on mic, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was like, dude, we gotta cut it short. I'm fucking union rules and all this shit. I'm like, you know, and so he didn't come out. He didn't come out for the meet and greet, which I was kind of bummed. I would have liked to have met him, but dude, I mean, meeting Billy Sheehan was my highlight. I mean, I love he's awesome, man. You know, like Derek Sherinian, you know, Jeff Scott Soto vocals, you know, and Bumblefoot. So they were all. But Bumblefoot was really cool, man. Really cool dude. I don't want to stray off the Zappa thing here too much, though. But yeah, I've met Pete Pardo a couple of times at different events. So.
Yeah, and that's who turned me on to that album, and then I turned that on to my uncle.
Yeah.
A little reverse there.
All right, good job.
So your uncle didn't know? Your uncle didn't really hear that album?
I guess not, because when I played it for him, and then he went out and got it, because I've been listening to Zappa since I was in high school, because he had turned me on. So then I started buying and collecting as much as I could. So I kind of surpassed him in that.
Yeah.
I hope he's not watching and then puts bullshit, but you're fucking lying, Andy. But yeah.
Hi, Kate. She made a comment. Kate. Kate's a good one, man. She's a good egg.
Yeah, and Kate's going to be on my show on Wednesday. I'm going to do an all-woman panel.
Nice.
For Mother's Day.
Cool.
Yeah, my mom's going to be on there, which is going to be interesting. Huh?
That's cool, man.
It's going to be my mom and my cousin and Kate. Yeah,
I'll definitely tune in.
Yeah, it's going to be the top 10 women in music.
All right.
Yeah, should be cool, man.
Yeah. Where are we, Brad?
Tinseltown Rebellion.
Ooh.
Oh man, you're really there in the early 80s.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a song. Well, yeah, the Tinseltown Rebellion song. Yeah, there's so much local.
Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back.
Dropping stuff that's going on there. Plus, it just rocks, man. It's just the playing on that album is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love I mean, they even go back. I mean, they played Brown Shoes Don't Make It, and that's a great version of the song.
So is that a live album, Tinseltown Rebellion?
Yeah, there is a studio song on there.
Yeah.
Fine Girl. I'm pretty sure that's a studio version of that song. But yeah, most of it's live. But he'll take like tapes of the same song being performed at different concerts, and he'll splice them together. And again, he'll overdub a bunch of stuff on it. He'll just take like the drum off of a live song and then build everything on top of that. And that'll really come into play into my number 2 album. So Tinseltown Rebellion, or the Blue Light. The Blue Light.
All right. Number 5 for me. Which is that we're at number 5, right?
5, yeah.
Okay, so this is a Halloween tradition for me, and I play Halloween by Frank Zappa. This is another live album. New York City, 1978. So we got Dancing Fool, Easy Meat, Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, Stinkfoot, Dynamo Hum, Camera Polo,
Dynamo Hum.
Muffin Man, Black Napkins, and this is what this is here is a DVD audio. I don't know if you can see that there. DVD audio disc.
Yeah.
And it's in surround. And I was talking about this with Andy. Like I really love surround sound music. And this was a posthumous Zappa release. Here's the Barking Pumpkin.
Oh, I love this the stash on the pumpkin.
Yeah, that's great. Right. So yeah, this is a surround. So every Halloween is a tradition for me. I put this on the surround and I get lost in a nice Frank Zappa concert. You feel like you're in the middle of it. Wow. And I love this album. This is like one of my favorites. Like again, my friend Steve turned me on to this one, and he had this one. He let me borrow it, and I had to like have my own copy of it, so I bought it. But yeah, Halloween, man, 78, New York City.
I gotta check that out, man.
I think it was the Palladium, which he played a lot. I mean, New York City was a tradition of him playing Halloween. Actually,
yeah, he'd always play Halloween in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, one of the Zappa shows.
Was that Halloween?
Yeah, like I've seen a couple around Halloween time.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Dweezil was doing the same as his dad, playing in New York. On Halloween, it was cool. Like they were all dressed up. Some of them were dressed up in like costumes and stuff. It was really, really cool. I love going to the Dweezil shows because everybody's like, it's an event, man. Which I'm sure the Zappa shows were like back in the day. Audience participation, all that stuff. So I'm sure Brad, you know all about that stuff.
Yeah, he would say in LA though, he says, well, there's too many people here who are either wanting to be musicians or actors, and they're afraid that they'll be seen by somebody, that will not want to hire them if they do the shenanigans they want them to do. So the first time I saw him, he had his bodyguard come out and do this stuff. He says, I know you people here are too cool to clap your hands. You don't want anybody to see you not clapping your hands right. So I'm going to have bald-headed John come out here, and he's going to do it. And so you guys can just sit back and watch and not embarrass yourselves.
Yeah.
He was a smart ass.
That's what I loved about him.
Yeah. But it's true. You go to his shows in LA. It's like I said, I'm sitting right behind Terry Bozzio, and that you look around, you're like, oh, that's, because all the musicians go.
Yeah.
And so
you can see them. Yeah.
Yeah. You just spot everybody that's anybody musician wise at those shows. This is cool.
So you did Halloween 78?
Halloween 78, yeah.
All right.
Frank is back, baby. Frank is back.
Wow.
Okay, I want to hear that surround sound mix of that. I'm gonna have to buy the disc so I can hear that.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool. I don't know if do you have a surround setup?
I have Atmos, man.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, you guys would freak if you saw my theater. It's better than most.
Dude, definitely try to pick that up, then, man. It's a DVD audio, but if you have a Blu-ray, you should probably be able to play it.
Yeah. Just put it on. Yeah. Because it's all. I'm sure it'll decipher it just fine.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in. All right. Number 5, Andy.
Yeah. Al talked about this earlier, but I'm going to add a little bit more to it. We're talking about Freak Out.
Yeah.
By the Mothers of Invention, the first one.
Susie.
This is
Susie
double album. Susie Cream Cheese. What's got into you? I love it.
I love that.
This guy is just it's on the Verb label. This one. Oh, geez, where do you even start with this? Let's have. Gotta take off my glasses so I can read. Don't Sit. Hungry Freaks Daddy, of course. Who Are the Brain Police? I Ain't Got No Heart. I'm not a big doo-wop guy, but the way that Zappa does it, it's great. A motherly love. Go Cry on Someone Else's Shoulder. It's really he's just amazing. Wowie zowie, any way the wind blows.
Yeah.
And that's just side one. And then
Yeah.
side two, he gets pretty experimental on side two. I've already mentioned Trouble Every Day, so I'm not going to talk about it because I think I already hit the high points on that about the riots,
Yep.
about the Watt riots, and about society at the time. You know, sitting there watching my TV. But the return of the son of Monster Magnet.
Yeah.
You know, that takes up all of side four. And you have to be a Zappa fan to understand or kind of enjoy it, because at first you're like, what is this? And then you just get used to it. I don't know how to explain it. You just get used to it. You know, it's a comfort zone that you find in them. Even Help, I'm a Rock. Help, I'm a Rock. Help, I'm a Rock. It's just Help, I'm a Rock. Molly, he's in here. He's in here. Willie. Oh.
Willie the Pimp.
Willie the Pimp.
Willie the Pimp.
Trying to buy pussy with a 3-party check.
So that was my number 5.
I use that all the time. When I'm at Costco, I seem like I get in line behind somebody who is trying to write a check. And I'm like, what the hell are you trying to buy stuff with a 3-party check here in Costco? What are you doing? Why is this taking so long? Yeah.
We gotta call this person. Yeah.
Okay, number 4. Number 4. This is the first. Now, this isn't the first Zappa album I heard, because the first one I heard was Freak Out, but I was too young to understand what the hell I was hearing, other than the dirty words and stuff and the naughtiness. I was like, but the first Zappa album I actually listened to, like had in my hands, put it down, listened to it, and just totally got into the whole thing, was Apostrophe. And
Love it.
Yeah, I again, you know, the Yellow Snow and all that, you don't realize how incredibly difficult that music is that's going on there. And you know, because you're just all, as a kid, you're thinking, oh, that's a funny story, Yellow Snow, Dog Snow Cone. But no, man, this is so good. There's so many good songs on that. Stinkfoot, the title track with Jack Bruce playing bass on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's just so good. Yeah, Uncle Remus. I love Uncle Remus. Knocking the jockeys off the lawn. Yeah, there was a guy in my neighborhood had a jockey on the lawn, and I always wanted to go knock that thing off just because of that song.
Frank told me to.
Yeah.
Frank said to.
I'll be gone. In the morning, I'll be gone, man. You won't find me. I'll be knocking the jockeys off the lawn.
And the backing vocals by the women on there are just oh man, just a celebration of an album.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, very well produced. That one's all studio too. So yeah, very well done.
Yeah. And when I heard, when I read, you know, Jack Bruce, and then you're like, man, and we pull on that track, you're like.
Yeah,
it's like everybody wanted to play with Frank, you know. It was a respectable gig, you know, or even more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Definitely.
Yeah. What do you got for number 4?
4 is going to be Hot Rats.
Ooh,
love this album, man. I love, you know, I mean, shit. I love Frank with vocals, but I love instrumental Frank too, man. You know. Except for, you know, the Willie the Pimp. Speaking of Willie the Pimp, you know, you got Captain Beefheart. But, like, I mean, shit, man, that's some of the greatest Frank playing. I love just when he's soloing and just going off on that song. It's just ridiculous. Peaches and Regalia opening up the album. It's like one of my favorite instrumentals, man. You know, I mean, I love this album, man. You know, the playing is great on here. This is when he's really going. I think this was his first actual, when he broke away from the Mothers, broke up the Mothers. This was his first actual solo album, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, but And here goes the CD. It's kind of a cool picture.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, man, Willie the Pimp. When I jam that song, man, it makes me just want to pick up a guitar and just fucking play along with it, man. You know, trying to solo. And Frank had such a unique, he doesn't get. I don't think he gets enough credit for his guitar playing, man. You know,
no, he doesn't get mentioned as much as he should.
He should get mentioned more because his tone was on his guitar, the way he solo was very unique. I can't explain it. I mean, it's cool. Like when I see Dweezil tells stories about that stuff when he plays like some of his songs, man. Like, hey, my dad had like this sort of contraption, and and he would play like these passages, and he had this real trebly, mid-rangey sound to cut through. That's why he always used an SG and Gibson SG and all that stuff. And I love those stories, man. But and I love his guitar playing. I think like he should be in a pantheon of the greats, man. I mean, he definitely was an awesome guitar player.
Yeah, I always thought that I always put him up there with some of the greats, if not a top 3 easily.
Yeah.
Especially for his virtuoso.
Shit, man, he can hold his own, man, with any of them fucking guys.
Oh, yeah.
Pages and Hendrix and all that stuff, man.
Yep. He really can. Blackmore and all them. I mean, he deserves to be up there.
I think what it was the whole satirical thing and everything. It just everybody. Yeah, I think sometimes you just kind of took the focus off of like the musicianship, So I think that's. I mean,
yeah, it kind of made him more of a
problem,
more of a jokester than a musician, which is again, he did what he wanted to do. He wasn't there to please anybody.
Yeah.
He was there to please himself and the band, and there were going to be inside jokes. Well, they were going to put it in the song.
Yeah.
No, that's what made him so great.
He left behind such a body of work, man.
Yeah, he really did.
So that's my 4.
My number 4 is, I really don't know because I don't have them written. I've got them here in line. So what am I? No, I already talked about that one. Oh, hey, same thing. Hot Rats.
Oh, Hot Rats. There you go. The final version.
Yeah. There's the inside of it.
Yeah. Is that him and Davy Jones in there?
Huh?
Is that him and Davy Jones? No.
No, it's not.
It looks like Davy Jones for a second. Huh?
No, that is Ian Underwood.
Oh, okay. It looks like Davy Jones for a second.
You're talking about this one over here.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, that's with Ian Underwood. And it's so funny that we talk about this because yesterday I was looking through that show called Quibi, that channel called QBI, or Kilo. And they got a documentary there.
Quello? Is it Quello?
Quello. I call it Kilo, but Quello. And they got a documentary there of the second version of the Mothers. For Frank Zappa, the Mothers from 68.
There's a bunch of documentaries on Frank, man. You can find a bunch. You can find a bunch of them on streaming.
Yeah,
there's some good ones, man.
I'm in the middle of this one. That's pretty cool because he's talking how he broke up the first Mothers of Invention and how he came up with the second version. It was because, of course, he's not talking about. People are saying that he had a different vision in his head that the original Mothers of Invention couldn't do.
Yeah.
They just couldn't keep up with what he wanted.
Yeah.
So that's when Flo and Aiden came in.
Yeah, he was advancing so fast as a musician that like them guys just couldn't keep up with him. He needed to get other guys. So I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. And it pissed him off because they were just about to break open. And then it wasn't that Frank was afraid of being popular or whatever. He wanted more. Yeah. He wanted his music to be more, and they just couldn't do it. And he knew their limitations, and they weren't where they needed to be. So, but Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, it's a fantastic album. Of course, we touched on a couple of songs, Peaches of Regatta. Good stuff. Big fan. Brad, number 3. We're on the bottom of the top 3.
It's right in there with my number 4. It's an overnight sensation. I I think that was the second Zappa album that I got, and
another kick-ass one.
You know, I'm the Slime. You know, Montana. Was Montana on there?
Yeah, it is.
Montana.
It ends with Montana.
Yeah, sometimes some of this stuff starts running together. Yeah, and I just love the sound of the album, man. The drum sound, the kicks, and everything, and just I love the way he brought everything out in the music and his production. I like being I like the way his albums sounded. So
yeah,
that Overnight Sensation, number 3 for me, man.
Don't mess with a zombie wolf.
Yeah, Zombie Wolf.
Yeah.
My number 3, One Size Fits All.
One Size Fits All.
Again, this is in my sweet spot of like, you know, the era that I really love, you know, and Andy already touched on this, but you know, this is a killer album, man. And this is one of my favorites by him. You know, Inca Roads, you know, and it's got Andy on there.
Yeah.
You know, Pajama People, you know, Sofa number 1, Sofa number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Who are the musicians on here again? This one he had
it's the Fowlers. Are they?
Yeah, Napoleon. He had Napoleon here, George Duke, Chester Thompson. Yeah, Tom Fowler, Ruth Underwood. I mean, his band was hot here too, man.
Yeah.
Great fucking band.
Yeah, it's the same band that does the Roxy, pretty much.
Yeah.
George Duke.
But yeah, man. Number 3, One Size Fits All.
Gorilla Victim. Chester Thompson. Drums and Gorilla Victim.
Yeah. He's a great drummer too, man.
Yes,
saw him on a Genesis tour in 2007.
Nice.
So, yeah, man.
Oh, Johnny Guitar Watson is also on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of his heroes, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of them. Along with Stravinsky.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was. But it was. Who was the shit, man? Who was the composer that he really loved? Brad.
I thought TSCH. I thought it was Stravinsky.
No.
Stravinsky is one of them, but I know who you're talking about, and my mind's gone.
God damn it!
So
it'll come to me.
Okay. Well, we'll let it come.
Yeah, but that was my number 3. So I mean, I love that album, man.
Great.
Number 3. My number 3. Apostrophe. Yeah.
Love it, man. Love
It's
it.
Yeah. Brad talked on it already, but you know, again, you had the funny songs, you know, the St. Alphonsus Pancake Breakfast. Now Nuke rubs it in.
Try to play that.
Nuke rubs it.
Yeah.
Nuke rubs it. Oh my gosh.
Cosmic Debris, man. Cosmic Debris.
Other Oblivion. Yeah, Cosmic Debris is a great song.
Yeah, it really is. That kicks ass.
Yeah. Is that a real poncho or is that a Sears poncho?
No fooling. No
love that, man. Fucking guy was so great, man. That was a great album, man.
Yeah, it really was. And I know I don't have surround sound because I don't know how to hook up the I can't.
Hey, dude, Andy, seriously, man, go. There's some great tutorials on YouTube, man. If you just look it up, some people like really are good like at explaining like how to like hook it up and everything. I'm telling you, man, YouTube is a great tool.
Come bring it over to my place, man.
Because I did put up all the speakers. I mean, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. The subwoofer and the center, but they're all hooked up to my other speakers.
You have 2 fronts, 2 rears, a center, and a subwoofer. 5.1. I mean,
Right.
I know it's more advanced now. They have 7.1. You can do the 5.1, dude. That's fine, man. You don't gotta get get that fucking crazy. You know?
But
I know Brad has the Atmos now. Man, the Atmos is incredible. But how many speakers are you supposed to have with that, Brad?
I think. Well, I mean, you've got the ones in the ceiling, and I think there's 6 in the ceiling.
So it's like overhead as well, right?
Yeah. Then I've got 2 in the back, but they're they're called like bipolar, so they actually fire sound in different directions.
Yeah.
And then I've got the 2 main speakers up front, which are also bipolar, like me. And then the center speaker, and actually the subwoofer is built into my main speakers. It's which I thought was nuts, but the guy's like, no. I had a guy do mine, and I can't deny it's awesome.
Yeah.
You see, because I don't know how to figure out how to hook up the console of it.
Well, you need to have the tuner that's
you gotta have the right receiver.
Yeah. You see, because I got the receiver, but I just don't know how to hook up the receiver to my stereo because it doesn't have, because I ran out of RCA adapters.
Oh, so you need to get more.
All right, I'm coming to Texas. Damn it!
And I've got the
coming to Texas. I'm going to sort you out, man. I'll bring my wire cutters. We'll get you hooked up.
I think I know what to do now. I think I do.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk, man.
All right, number
2, right? Or
2?
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of hooking up stereos, I just had this surreal thing where I'd met this guy. He was one of the guitar players in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I met him at the Baked Potato. His name's Jack Sherman, and we shared a table together. And just out of the blue, I don't know if we must have shared phone numbers or something, or he got my phone number from somewhere else. And I was moving into my last house, and all of a sudden his phone rings, and he goes, "Hey, Brad, this is Jack." And I'm like, "Jack who?" "Jack Sherman, you know." He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I know you're really into stereo stuff, and I'm hooking up my home theater, and I need some help. I got to ask you some questions." I'm like, "How the hell does this happen?" It was one of the most. He's dead now, unfortunately. Super good guy.
Yeah, he just died like last year, didn't he?
He had his moment. The Chili Peppers don't even talk about him, but he was there for a moment. He claimed that it was because he was Jewish, and so I mean, he had his trip. Yeah. So if you want to track me, you want to call me up 24/7 for audio advice, I'm there for you. All right, so number 2, Chic Your Booty.
Ooh.
This album was huge for me. It was just a point in my life that I don't know, the whole thing. If I put it on, I can smell things, I can taste things. It's one of those albums for me that it just brings. If I put on one of those songs, it just brings back a flood of memories. And plus, I just love it. Terry Bozzio is all over it. Patrick O'Hearn.
Yeah.
It's one of those, where I talked about where he'd take live stuff and mix it up. I mean, there's a song on there where he took 2 different songs and pieced them together. They he didn't even, I can't remember what the story was. He had the one guy play a drum thing, and then other guys like, okay, I want you to do this, but you can't hear what the drum did. You're going to play it without hearing any drums. Wow. And then he put it all together and played guitar on top of it. I can't remember what song it is, but it's bizarro, but it's awesome. I mean, that's just Frank stuff. It's just Frank madness. So yeah. I love that he'd have some kind of just crazy ass idea and then just do it. Put it on an album.
That's a great album. It really is.
Yeah, so Chic Your Booty. Maybe you should stay with your mama.
Mama.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're kind of stupid and ugly too.
Yeah, I was. I don't know, 15 years ago, I shared an office with this guy, and I used to listen to music all the time, and that came on, and he was like, "What the hell is this?" And then he had to stop working and just listen. He's like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever heard." Yep, Frank Zappa. Go listen. So yeah, the Dancing Fool. Another song, really difficult song to play. I mean, it's a song that people just like, oh, it's a joke song. It's like, no, it's a brilliant song.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Shake Your Booty, you're number 2.
Chic Your Booty. Number 2.
Overnight Sensation, my number 2.
Yeah.
All right, I got a story about these number 2 and my number 1, but my number 1, you'll know. Yeah, I'll get to it. But so my dad owned when I was younger, and we lived in this house. Now that I live in now, actually, this house I live in now was my parents' first house, actually. So,
Oh wow.
Cool.
But my dad owned a 4-family apartment building right next door. And one day, so a month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. There was a tenant and not paying his rent, not around. By the third month, my dad's like, I haven't seen him around. I got to go in there. I got to go into the apartment. He goes in the apartment, and it's been abandoned. Everything is still there, though. So, like, you open up the fridge, all the food's rotting in there and whatever. And I don't know, the guy just up and left.
Cover.
Huh?
It's the album cover.
Yeah, it's the album cover. Yeah, look at that. So, the guy left behind everything, man. To this day, this was in the mid 80s. So this is probably like 85, 84, 85. So, he up and left. So to this day, we still don't know. I mean, the guy could have died or something. Who knows? I don't know. He might have been. Maybe he ran from the law. Maybe he was in trouble. Who knows? He left behind everything. We're talking stereo equipment, video game systems, albums, cassettes. All sorts of stuff. So obviously, I was really getting into music at the time. So my brother and I, we gravitated towards the stereo equipment and the albums and the cassettes and all that. And one of the cassettes he had was Frank Zappa. It was a dual cassette. It was a cassette. You know how you used to get some cassettes had the 2 albums on one cassette?
Yeah.
So you had Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation on one cassette.
Wow.
So for some reason, I don't know why, it had him on an album, on the cover with the mustache, the Apostrophe album cover. And I'm like, it just intrigued me as a kid. So I started playing it. And, you hear, Yellow Snow and all that stuff. And you're a kid, you get into it, man. You're like, what am I hearing here, man? What am I, it's intriguing. It's funny. So it was Apostrophe, Overnight Sensation, the 2 albums on one cassette. I took that cassette and I played it over and over. And I must have broke the fucking thing, But yeah, Zombie Wolf, Camarilla Brillo, I'm the Slime. I mean, come on, man. Like, this stuff was, as a kid, like, you're hearing this and like, what's going on here, man?
Yeah.
You're
Then you get to Dynamo Hum and you're like,
yeah.
Did I be listening to this?
It's like, yeah, keep it low. I don't know if my parents should be hearing this stuff, man. So yeah, I mean, that was like my first foray into Zappa, man. So like that album has special meaning to me, so it's gotta be my number 2. I mean, you're gonna know what my number 1 is, but I'll get to it when we come around again.
I don't know.
It's like the 1-2 punch for me, man. So I mean, and these albums are like, if I was gonna like introduce somebody to Zappa, I think those are the 2 that I would like
go to.
That I would recommend, to somebody. That was just like, hey, I never heard Zappa. What do you recommend? Here, take Overnight Sensation or Apostrophe. Get back to me. Because I think there's an accessibility. There's an accessibility to the albums as well.
It is. It's a little bit easier to gravitate, and then you go.
Yeah. Then you spread out
the way that you want to go.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways you can.
All the time, it's like, where do I start? And I think you're as always. Al is the one who's on point, as always.
Well, I can't listen. Dweezil says that in the classic albums DVD of this as well.
Right.
There's a classic, the classic albums.
Yeah.
They did one for Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation, and even Dweezil in there said, if you were gonna like introduce somebody to Frank, those are the 2 albums you should really, So, but I mean, I agree with him. I mean, I was saying that way before, like. He did. He must have heard me say it. And
of course, Al.
Dweezil, I hope the check's in the mail. I'm still waiting on that check, actually. So that's my number 2.
That's a good one. Andy?
Number 2. Let's see here. Which one did you go? I'm going to agree with Al on that one. It is going to be Overnight Sensation.
Nice.
Oh,
you can't go wrong with that album, man.
No, you can't go wrong with it. But
I don't know.
she said her stereo was 4-way. I'm the Slime, Camarillo Brillo, of course. Dynamo Hum is on here, but Zombie Woof and Your Dirty Love, of course, with a great Jean-Luc Ponty on that one, trading off with Frank.
Another guy that got to start with him.
Yeah. Huh?
Jean-Luc Ponty, man, another guy that got to start with Zappa.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and this was a great lineup with Sal Marquis, Ralph Humphrey, the Fowler brothers, the Underwoods, who I think were married at the time, and they were married for a while. They divorced, and with George Duke and Jean-Luc Ponty. Were they already? I think they had already made an album or two before they joined Frank. Am I right about that, George Duke? And
yeah.
Right. Okay.
He was kind of he did some of those instrumental. I think that's when he first kind of got in there. I'd have to. God, I can't remember everything.
And of course, Tina Turner and the I Gets are on here.
Yep.
You know, I heard somewhere where Ike had given them permission because he said no one's going to hear that album anyway. And Frank Zappa outlasted him by a mile, by a whole freaking whirlwind. But 50-50. I mean, man, it's a great album from a beginning to end. I love you really open it up. It's got the whole scene pretty much. You know, it's this is my number 2, and I remember I tried to bring my buddies into this. I guess I might have been about 2021 when I was really into this album, and I brought it to a friend's house, and immediately they're like, do we have to sit and listen to this? Because they didn't like it. I said, are you crazy? How can you not like this? This is, But that was a time when my friends were into Boys to Men and shit like that. And I'm bringing Zappa. Hey, you want to listen to Overnight Sensation? But yeah, love it.
The guitar solos on there, just the tone and
blistering, man. And I'm the slime from the video. Yeah. I'm the slime in the video and oozing out of your TV set. Yeah. You will obey me as I see you. It's great, man. It's just all right, guys. What's our number 1 Frank Zappa album?
It starts with one size fits all. You guys have already talked about it.
Wow, really? You're number 1.
Yeah, here's it's the one that I point people towards when it's like you don't know Frank Zappa, you listen to this one first. Because to me, I think you get more of the musical aspect of him. Without being just whacked upside the head with the comedy part of it. I mean, Inca Roads is that's that you can't beat that.
Inca Roads, yeah.
Which there again, it's where he took the live section out where the solo is, and then put a studio song around it.
Yeah.
And just totally just splicing things like crazy.
He cut a lot of tape, man.
Yep. The one song you guys didn't mention is one I've always wanted to do an acoustic version of, and that's Can't Afford No Shoes. I just love that song. And I think it'd be really cool to jam it out on acoustic guitars and go nuts. Then sit in an airport lounge and sing it. I think it'd be great. Okay, there you go. Number 1. One size fits all.
That was my number 3. So you're right, man. Like I would still, along with Overnight Sensation Apostrophe, that would be like one that I would be like.
That's a good trifecta.
Yeah.
It is a really good starting point as well.
Yeah, trio of albums. Yep. But of course my number 1 is Apostrophe. And look, it's Apostrophe and it's Overnight Sensation. 2 on 1.
I've got the
same. Cool stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
It's both albums fit on one CD. I found this used like somewhere years ago, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I gotta have this." I had the cassette, which is long gone.
Yeah, one size fits all, right?
So this is like kind of brought me back to my youth, having both of them on like one disc, But yeah, man, Apostrophe, dude, blew my mind when I was a kid, man. Of course, Yellow Snow, it kind of hooks you in as a kid, but then you know, Father Oblivion, Cosmic Debris was awesome, and like Brad said, Apostrophe with Jack Bruce, man, shit. Uncle Remus.
I think who plays drums on that? I want to say like Lenny White or something crazy like that, but who plays drums on Apostrophe? The song.
Oh, the song was let's see here.
I feel like it was somebody like
Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon, okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't know who that is, but the drums on that are fantastic.
Jim Gordon had he played with Derek and the Dominoes.
Okay.
And he played with the Who's Who in the 70s, and he went into he suffered from mental issues,
schizophrenia,
and he murdered his mother.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, and when he was playing with Dylan tried to get him some help, some big time help, and nobody wanted to listen. And he was living with his mom at the time, and he was schizophrenic.
Yeah, dude, and I don't know I don't know if you ever heard of the band MOD, Methods of Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
They were a hardcore band, kind of born out of SOD, Billy Milano. I was kind of into that crossover stuff in the 80s. Like when I was in high school, a couple of friends of mine were really into like hardcore punk, and I was into thrash. Then I got into that thrash crossover stuff. So like Stormtroopers of Death had Speak English or Die, which was a classic album. But then out of that, Billy Milano formed MOD, and ironically, on the first MOD album, there's a song on it called Jim Gordon, because they did like these joke little songs, Yeah. And then that's kind of how I knew. I read up on Jim Gordon after that, and then like what you just touched on, Andy, was that. But yeah, Jim Gordon played the drums on that track, and then Ainsley Dunbar, one of my favorite drummers, man. Yeah. I love Ainsley. I love that early journey that he's on. Mm-hmm. Fucking phenomenal drummer, and he's like in my top 5 drummers, man.
Wow, yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah, I love Ainsley, man. Yeah. I don't know if he's still active anymore, man, but
I don't think he's played out with anybody in a long time, but he's done quite a few just recording stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of
phenomenal drummer, man.
Phenomenal. Yeah, he's unbelievable. I've only seen him once, and that was with Journey. It's the only time I've ever.
You saw Journey in the 70s when he was in there.
Yeah. The first time I was with Journey, they came out and played like 3 or 4 songs with just the original guys, and then they brought Steve Perry out, like on song 5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's our singer.
Those first 3 Journey albums, before the pre-Steve Perry albums, are phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you love fusion, if you love all that, like kind of, it's just blistering, man.
Well, the drums are unbelievable on there.
Oh, and Ainsley plays it like with one foot, man. Like it sounds like a double bass, dude. He's
he's awesome.
He kicks ass. Played on the Whitesnake '87 album too.
Yeah, and kids, where you can hear some of that early Journey stuff.
Yarg Metal.
We actually pull out some of those songs. Yeah. There you go. All right, Andy. You left.
And it kind of looks like this is the back of one of them.
Oh,
I was listening to this earlier.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's what? Is Look Into the Future?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. This is the back of it. I take them out because I put them inside sleeves just to save room,
Yeah.
I don't throw the sleeves away because the sleeves are very important. Huh?
Those first 3 Journey albums are awesome.
Yeah.
I love Greg Raleigh's voice. Yeah. And I loved when Steve Perry came in. Like I loved when they used to trade off vocals too, man. I love those songs where they did, because I love Anytime, like that song, Feeling That Way Anytime. It's like one of my favorite Journey songs, man.
Yeah.
The 1-2 punch, So what's your number 1?
Yeah, my number 1. My uncle gave me this on cassette. He would make copies from albums to cassettes, and this was already touched on by Brad. Shake Your Booty.
Yeah.
Oh. Good choice, man. Good choice. That could easily been my number one too.
Yeah, that's a great one, man.
I love this album, man. And
now that you guys are like talking about that, I kind of regret not putting it in my top 10.
That's right. You love it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I have been in you. You know, they do that parody of Bob Dylan. You want to buy some Mindy's, Bob? But they didn't do nothing. Complaining about mechanics.
Yeah. Flakes. Oh,
yeah.
That's some hilarious stuff, man.
Broken Hearts are for assholes. I love that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so cute. Jones Crusher. Yep. I'm just gonna read them all, man. Whatever happened to all the fun in the world is a great instrumental.
Yep.
We got to get to something real. And Bobby Brown, that is just so.
Bobby Brown goes down.
Yeah. It wouldn't fly today. I'll tell you that. Baby Snakes, Trying to Grow a Chin, City of Tiny Lights. Dancing Fool, which was a hit for him. Jewish Princess. She's a little Jewish
princess.
Who don't know shit about cooking and is arrogant looking. Wild Love is all right, but man, the way it ends with Mama.
Yeah, Wild Love is good. I like Wild Love.
This is a great album. This is my number one. It's a double. And this is the album that I was talking about, how One Size Fits All stretches out into Shake Your Booty.
Okay.
If you really think about it, when it comes to the guitar playing,
okay,
to me, this is an extension of it.
Yeah.
But in fact, probably tonight, I'll probably play them back to back. Because every time I finish one of these, I don't know about you all, I'm so hyped up to listen to more. And I don't go to bed for another hour, another couple of hours. But I got that record convention at 9 a.m. that I'm very excited to get to. So
maybe you'll find more Zappa albums there.
Yeah, man, it's got. They're gonna have 100 tables of people, just vendors. So I'm excited, man.
I got a couple of
honorable mentions.
So we were talking about surround sound before, so I recommend picking up this one up too. Quadiophiliac. This is cool.
What is that?
It's a compilation. It's got. I'll go through the track list for you. Naval Aviation and Art, Lumpy Gravy, Rolo, Drooling Mid-Range Accountants on Easter Hay, Wild Love, Ship Ahoy, Chunga Basement, which is really cool. Venusian Time Bandits, Waka Jawaka, and Basement Music number 2. This is kind of a compilation that they put together, posthumous. I think Frank was really into like the quad sound back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He was really experimenting with that. So he did a lot of quad recordings, and this was a compilation of quad recordings that he did. So this is really cool to have if you want to hear some surround Zappa. I suggest picking out a Quadiophiliac. So that I got Sleep Dirt here.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Sleep Dirt. You got Weasels Rip My Flesh.
Yeah.
So, just a couple other ones just to throw in the mix there.
Yep.
Get people talking about them, But yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, surround stuff, man. It's cool, man. And Frank was ahead of the game on a lot of shit, So
I got closer to this too. The 200 Motels.
Yeah, 200 Motels.
Soundtrack, and then, dude, I had bought it used, and then I was like, no freaking way. It's got the actual freaking movie poster to it.
Oh wow.
As well.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'd frame that and hang it.
Yeah. No. And of course, we got Ringo Starr down here. And on Pluto TV, they're showing 200 Motels on demand for free.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through. It really is, man. It's really hard to get through. I don't know what the hell are these guys talking about,
Going back to the surround sound stuff again, I also have a fan-made. So somebody took the Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation. Those were available on Quad as well. Quad albums. They took them and put it onto DVD audio. It's just a fan-made bootleg, but it's definitely awesome, man, to hear that in surround. So like Overnight Sensation apostrophe, like when I downloaded a lot of stuff on BitTorrent back in the day, somebody had offered those up, and I downloaded, and I was like blown away by that. Hearing like the quad and all that going around your head. So yeah, Brad, man, you gotta check that stuff out, man.
Yeah.
So I just found out that I got something on the floor here with an RCA jack that could go into.
I thought Willie was something.
And I can really plug in
left the present.
The actual machine or what do you call it now?
Receiver.
Yeah, I can actually put because it's an RCA receiver that we had in our living room, but for some reason it stopped working. But I can plug it in here and really have a. This room's only a 12 by 12, and I'm going to turn it into a concert venue, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where I can plug everything in. It's going to look all right. Hey, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Frank Zappa. My number one was Shake Your Booty, and Brad's number one was One Size Fits All, which was on all of our lists. That was his number one, and number one for Al, and very understandably apostrophe, which was on all of our lists and top 5. Great stuff. Thank you all for joining us. We finally broke down one of our favorites, which is Frank Zappa, which is hard to break down. And I think we did a fantastic job because we love it. We love music. We love talking about it.
You could do you could do hours and hours on Frank.
Yeah, I think we just did.
Yeah. We did 2 hours, but I mean, that just doesn't even scratch the surface, man.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So much.
Oh, and it was Edgar Varese that was the composer that he loved.
Edgar Varese, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. I've heard that name too.
Very alternative composer from back in the day.
Oh, and if y'all want to, and if y'all haven't seen this yet, on YouTube, Frank Zappa came out on I forgot his name, but his last name was Allen. Something Allen.
G.G. Allen?
No, but he had glasses, and he was the host of a show.
Peter Allen. Peter.
Huh?
Was it
Steve Allen?
Steve Allen show.
Steve Allen.
The Steve Allen show. And Frank Zappa was like 18 or 19.
Was he playing the bike?
He was throwing. Yeah, he was playing the bike.
Bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. Then Steve Allen said some quip. Can you promise me never to do that again?
Yeah, don't come around here again.
Yeah. And Zappa, I mean, he just had a mustache and short hair. He was up there with a suit, and he was with drumsticks, and he was playing the bike.
Yep.
Yeah.
All these sounds that he loved to make, and just in case for y'all out there that have never seen that, it's pretty cool.
It's funny,
Frank
man.
started out as a drummer.
What now?
Yeah, Frank started out as a drummer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Well, guys, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate Andy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Al. Thanks a lot, Brad. And I don't know if y'all saw my last post that I put a date out there for the Unplugged show.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, I won't be able to make that, but
okay.
I'll check it out after.
I know Kate will probably do that one.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be on the road. So.
Yeah.
So Andy, I'll send you some pictures from the ball games that I'm at.
Oh yeah, please. I don't know who Baltimore's playing this weekend.
I can't remember who, but I know they're playing the Twins. I think on the Monday game, if I'm not
mistaken. Okay. Astros just beat the Blue Jays 11-7. It was a pretty good game. All right. Thanks, guys.
I'll be dangerously close to you, Al.
Oh. Shoot me a message, man. Maybe I can meet up with you somehow.
Okay.
Seriously, man.
Yeah. It would be the coolest thing ever to go to lunch.
What day are you going to be in Philly?
It'll be Tuesday into Wednesday.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'll shout out.
Listen, where I work is it's less than an hour to Philly. So I don't know, man.
We're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry to go back after that game. So that Wednesday will be more leisurely. Depending on it all depends on my friend from DC.
Okay.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
So
that'd be awesome if y'all meet and share a meal together.
It'll happen someday, man.
Yeah, definitely, guys. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Frank Zappa. I love you. We're glad you. Okay. All right, bye guys. Y'all have a weekend.
All right, you too, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is it the weekend?
Yeah, Friday night.
How did that happen?
It's Friday night, man. Come on, man.
Well, Wednesday I was at a day game and I thought it was Sunday.
Yeah.
We flew home Wednesday night and I'm like, well, it's Sunday night, right? No, it's Wednesday.